Oh.
Okay, folks.
Who sprayed there?
Straight 15 minutes for everyone. If you're recording a mobile phone, can you make sure to switch to flight mode?
Thanks, man. Oh, look, you've rinsed. Thanks. So much sprayed water on it. Thank you. Cheers.
Okay, folks, we get underway. Rory, does it feel even better than going here at home in Chicago?
I think they're both first for us, so I don't think one feels necessarily better than the other. But yeah, look, it took a mighty effort to win tonight. You know, they're a fantastic side. They were 9 years world number one, and we knew it was going to take a big effort from us. But I wouldn't necessarily say it feels any better. It definitely doesn't feel any worse. It's kind of hard to know what it feels like at the minute. You know, you're physically exhausted, but mentally you're absolutely ecstatic. So yeah, look, it's just it's another little bit of history that this squad has managed to etch out for itself.
Rory, there was a standing ovation, a noted standing ovation for you, which of course would have included the 2016 win. Had you even time to notice it, and were you happy with your own performance?
Yeah, look, I suppose I thought that was maybe for Tag, because Tag had an unbelievable day in the scrum, and yeah, look, I think we asked that question yesterday about performance, and I think when you're a hooker, you judge a lot of your performance around the line out, rightly or wrongly, and it just felt, like I said yesterday, a little bit rusty in there, and it didn't go well or as well as we'd like last week, and there was obviously a lot of pressure because New Zealand have a fantastic line of defence. But I think for me it was trying to block a bit of that out and just go around and do what I do well for the team, and that's sort of working hard and trying to hit a few things and clean a few rucks and be there whenever the team need it. And you know, I think if you can ask that of everyone on the team, and everyone can put their hand up and say they do that, then generally what happens is you get a good team performance.
Joe, what gives you most pride about that performance?
From start to finish, really. Early in the game, those first few minutes, we were almost camped on our line, defending wave after wave of attack. We saw that off, got out of our area and put a bit of pressure down their end. We almost created a try. We got held up over the line. We got very close. Even with Rob Carney getting it over the line. I don't think it was a try. He wasn't on his feet when he picked it up anyway, and there was a little knock on, but we felt we weren't far away, and if we could get something on the back of it, it would help build confidence. And then, you know, maybe in the last 20 minutes we put a bit more ball in the air. Fatigue was starting to take its toll. We started to get a little bit narrow, and we got a bit of joy in the air early on once we started kicking, but it's kind of like you get 4.5 seconds of reprieve, and then they start coming back at you. And it was an incredibly collective, hard-earned win, and I'm really proud of the way they stuck to the task.
Steve Hansen says you're now favourites for the World Cup. Would you go along with that?
The World Cup in 12 months' time or 11 months' time. Yeah, we're going to work hard in the next week to make sure we're ready for the USA, and people will, I suppose, postulate about who's where and who's favourite, and it's a nebulous thing for us because all we can tangibly control is our preparation, and then go out and try to work hard and get a performance.
Do you think that performance will be enough to see Johnny Sexton win Player of the Year at the end of the year?
Yeah, I don't pick any of those things. So, I thought Johnny was incredibly good for us in all sorts of ways. He distributed really well. He defensively, he stands up and delivers. He had cramp and he showed courage. He kept going, and even toward the end of the game, he said, "Oh, just give me a minute. I can finish this out." But we decided not to give him a minute because he'd pushed himself far enough. So, is he a super player for us? Absolutely. And somebody else will make decisions about if he's good enough to be considered the World Player of the Year.
Joe, Sean Hansen installs you as World Cup favourites. Is that a bit of pedagogy? And you sort of feel you understand that?
Yeah, I kind of answered it before just by saying that I think he probably enjoyed a little bit of banter. I've got huge respect for Steve, Fozzie, and Scott McLeod, their coaching staff, Mike Cron. So, for us to be favourites when they've been the world #1 team for 9 years and continue to be the world #1 team, I think we were at home. They were on the back of quite a long series of games where they've travelled around the world a number of times. I thought the crowd were phenomenal tonight. That's a lot of things stacked in our favour. So we'll take tonight and we'll leave 11 months for 11 months' time.
But the All Blacks have come up to Europe and won consistently. You guys have done something that hasn't been done up here for a wee while. Don't your players deserve the credit of being called the World Cup favourites, given how they have played tonight and also over the course of the last 18 months,
I think you could ask Bestie that, but for me, the players are pretty happy. Yeah, but I'm not going to let them answer it anyway. But what I would say is the players, they do live in a bit of a bubble during these periods of time. They work away and they come out and try to perform. And really, as I said earlier, you're being called World Cup favourites. What do you tangibly gain from that? If we train well, there's some tangible gain. If we put a set play together and we're all on the same page and we get our timing right, execution's good, we get something tangible from that. And they're a great bunch because it's all about things that are tangible for them and not those things that we can't really control what people say, but we can try to control how we prepare and play.
Joe, the shades of 2013 from the match we lost here, were the shades of that in the last 2 to 3 minutes from your point of view?
Yeah, but we couldn't lose this one. We were 7 points in front. But yeah, you're right. As they worked their way back up the field, I think they got the penalty. They came up the field, and it was a little bit reminiscent of that. And maybe we got a bit lucky a few times. Kieran Reid, how many times would you see him knock that charge down on? There was no one in front of him. I think Rob Carney got in the passing channel at one stage when Bowden Barrett, it looked like a score might happen. And I'm not quite sure how Pete O'Mahony managed to get to that chip ahead. We looked like we were numbers down and almost gone. And you've got to be proud about the way the guys scrambled, but at the same time, you've got to be realistic about there's 3 pretty clear-cut chances that they didn't take, and we took one of a couple we maybe had. As I said, Rob Carney wasn't far away when he got the ball over the line, and we got held up over the line another time. So I just thought it was a fantastic test match, and I thought it was, the way it had been built up as 1v2, I thought it was a heavyweight contest.
How much better is it to win without letting them score a try?
Look, you can ask Andy Farrell that. He's delighted, no doubt, because it is so seldom that the All Blacks don't score a try. But as I just explained, there were 3 potential tries that we managed to scramble on. So on any given day, they might get a couple of those, and it's all different. The other narrow margins. As I say, we almost got another couple, and Jacob Stockdale, what do you say? He got some good space down that short side, but once he controlled that chip ahead, and it was reminiscent, I thought of the Twickenham one where he went down the short side with Conor Murray and got that chip over the top to get that try, which was crucial in giving us a bit of scoreboard separation against England.
Does it performance like that?
Sorry, we're just going to move it on because straight in a row there.
Rory, just the self-belief that Jacob showed to, take that kick again after the first one was charged down. Did that kind of have a ripple effect throughout the team then?
Yeah, look, I think there's no doubt that we have a lot of quality players. I wouldn't just say quality young players, there's quality players right across the board, and we prepare really well to make sure that we know that we can execute things, and when they don't necessarily come off first time, it does take a little bit of, how do you say it, confidence to chip that over again. And look, Jacob's a fantastic player, like a lot of players are in the squad, and he got his opportunity. It was a really well worked move. Bundy put him in a bit of space. I was outside him, probably not in as much space, and he just put it over the top. And I think it shows that he doesn't necessarily look the fastest until you go to keep up with him. Big long stride on him, and he went past it. And as has happened to him over the last sort of 12, 18 months, the ball bounced his way. But I do think that you make your own luck with those bounces, and he is in the right place at the right time, and it was great to see. And obviously it was very important for us. We knew that we probably needed to score a try in the second half to win that game.
Rory, sorry, this gentleman here is trying to come in.
Joe, just about Andy Farrell. What is it about his defensive system? All Blacks seem to really quite hate playing against it at times.
It's not, you get up, you form a line and you get off it to make tackles. It's not rocket science, but I think it's everyone understanding their role. I think it's everyone committing to their role and trusting that other people will do their role, so that you don't get people over chasing to somebody else. There was a few times they got us back on the inside. Damien McKenzie came through the middle one time. There were times that we did get severed, and the great thing about Faz is that he'll look at those and he'll pat guys on the back, but he'll start there and say, well, here's a couple of solutions to this. What do you guys think? And we'll springboard from there. So, yeah, look, he's doing a super job. He's doing a great job. And I've really enjoyed working with him over the last kind of 2.5 years. And, Simon needs to be with the line-out. I know a lot of people thought that our line-out was a little bit flimsy last week, but I thought that first half line-out, that was a fantastic kind of platform for us to springboard into the game, and as was the scrum. And Greg Feeke is a bit of an unsung hero there as well. So yeah, I'm lucky. I've got a team behind the team who do a super job.
You've got Stephen and then Keane, okay?
Rory, what does a performance and a result like that do for your team confidence ahead of a World Cup year?
I think it obviously does a lot. It's when you beat the best team in the world, and like Joe said, that has been the best team in the world for 9 years now. It takes a big performance. Probably the thing now is that Joe and the team, Faz, Simon and Vicky, they're going to expect that to be the standard. They're going to expect an improvement in that next week, the next time after next week when we meet up for the Six Nations. That's going to be the level of preparation and the level of performance that is expected, and that's how you improve. You try to play better, and when you play better, that becomes your minimum, and then you keep trying to push beyond that, and you look at ways to improve. Joe's already pointed out that Faz will look at a few things in defence where we can get better. There'll be a few things in attack we can get better, and right across the board. And look, it was a great performance and a great result, and it means a lot to us to beat New Zealand on home soil. But once the dust settles on it, it'll be about moving forward and seeing how we can improve, and that'll be a really good standard for us to hold ourselves accountable to.
Rory, there was a few world-class locks we showed tonight, but just as a player group, are you surprised anymore about James Ryan's performances just week to week, what he's delivering and against the calibre of players he's delivering?
No, I think he's shown now in some very big games, both for club and country, what he can do. And like I say, age is only sort of something that is talked about mostly in the media. Just because James is young, it doesn't mean we know what he can do. So we expect him to produce that, and we'll be expecting to produce that now for probably many years to come. But it doesn't matter that he's the youngest of the three locks there, that he has shown that that's what he's capable of, and that's what we expect. We expect him to prepare well so that he can deliver that on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Just, Joe, just two questions. Where does this rank in your coaching career, this victory? And also, is there any sort of mixed emotions at all as a New Zealander?
Yeah, look, I'm 100% All Black supporter when they're playing anyone but us. Just because that's where the roots were, and at the same time, I work with an incredibly committed bunch of men who really go out and earn what they get, and So there's no real mixed emotion about that, because they're the people I'm close to, and they're the people I see working so hard to achieve what they do. It is one of those things that I suppose, it does make it a little bit more complicated in this game, particularly for me. But at the same time, I'm incredibly proud of the group of Irish players who went out there and did what they did tonight.
Take last on the clock.
Joe, how long does it take you to come up with those moves, and have you been holding that one back before tonight?
Not really, and I mostly steal them from other people. So I'm always on the lookout. I'm always keeping my eye out. I watch Mitre 10 Cup. They've always got a couple of good ones. There was a really good one. It looked like the Highlanders played, recently. I showed that to the coaches and just said, hey, we could maybe do this, because it's hard to get patents on moves. So we work away. What we do is, one of the things with the All Blacks, they work so hard that they work in to get into that chip line. They work across so they can get the far side of the defence up. So we kind of felt that we could go back down that short side. Now, as best he says, sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. But it's always nice when you do put them together, and it's nice when everyone knows their role and they come off. But the other coaching staff, they come up with some as well. I've come up with some incredibly poor moves in my time. Bestie will probably testify to that. They looked really good on paper, though.
Okay, folks, we'll leave it there. Thanks.